Have you ever wanted to dig a little deeper into Home Assistant to really get under the hood and take full control? Well, that's exactly what SSH lets you do. It gives you secure, direct access to the system running at Home Assistant so that you can manage files, run commands and fix problems without ever needing the web interface. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install and set up SSH in Home Assistant step by step so that you can unlock the full power of your system safely and securely. Hey everyone, my name's Simon and welcome to a new video on Byte of Geek, a channel that's all about Home Assistant and smart home technology. So whether you're completely new to Home Assistant or you've been using it for a while, you've probably seen people mention SSH or terminal. It's one of those things that gets talked about a lot, especially when you want to dig a bit deeper or fix something behind the scenes. You might already have it set up, in which case you'll know how powerful it can be. But if you haven't or you're not quite sure what it's for, then this is exactly the video for you. So what exactly is SSH? Well, Secure Shell, to give it its full name, is a cryptographic network protocol that allows you to perform secure communication across an unsecure network. It's great for being able to remotely manage things like servers and being able to run commands, look at log files, see the health of a machine and various other admin tasks, all while being completely encrypted. Having this installed gives you the ability to be able to deal with problems when you're away from your Home Assistant server, especially if you can't get access to the front end, and be able to get your system up and running as quickly as possible. So enough of the background, let's get started on installing and setting up SSH in Home Assistant. So with Home Assistant loaded in a browser, the first thing we need to do is to enable advanced mode. So we need to click on our user profile in the bottom left hand corner and scroll down and you'll see advanced mode. Just toggle that option on. Now we're going to install the SSH add-on in Home Assistant. So we need to click on settings and then add-ons. Then click on the add-on store button in the bottom right corner, and in the search box at the top of the screen we type in SSH, and under official add-ons you should have terminal and SSH listed. Just click on that and then you should have the details of the add-on displayed. Click on the install button on the right hand side and then after a couple of seconds the install will be completed and you'll have the info screen displayed. There are 4 toggle switches on the screen, so just make sure that Start on Boot, Watchdog and Add to Sidebar are all selected on. I leave Auto Update turned off just to avoid a situation whereby my system might be updated and there turns out to be a problem with the add-on. I'd rather just manually install the update after a few days, after I've checked to make sure there aren't any reported issues. Next, we're going to need to install some software that allows us to connect to SSH on Home Assistant. I'm going to use something called PuTTY. I've used this for many years, both with local and remote servers, and it's a great piece of software. You could also use Windows Terminal, but this video will be showing you how to use PuTTY. So in a new browser window, navigate to the PuTTY website. I'll put a link in the description of this video just so you go to the right one, as there are lots of other websites that are listed when you search for it, but this is the official link. Now you can either download the package installer, which includes pretty much everything, or you can download the individual files. If you're downloading the separate files, you'll need to pick either the 32 or 64-bit version of PuTTY, and listed a little further down the page, you'll also need the 32 or 64-bit version of PuTTY. Choose the versions that your version of Windows supports. Once you've downloaded those and got them installed, you then need to go back into Home Assistant and into the configuration tab of the SSH add-on. Now you can set up SSH just to use a username and password, but that is no longer really considered secure, and I would strongly recommend that you don't go down that route, especially if your Home Assistant server is going to be exposed to the internet in any way. Instead, you want to set up an authorization key, and to do that we're going to use PuTTY. So Run that and you should have a little window open up like this. Now we want to make sure that RSA in the bottom left corner is selected, and in the bottom right corner for the number of bits in a key we want to put 4096. Then we click on generate, and in the middle of the window we just need to wiggle our mouse around in some random movements whilst it generates the key. This may sound like some kind of joke, but PuTTY uses this to create randomness in the key, and your random movements are something an attacker would never be able to replicate. So after a few seconds, we should now have a key generated for us. I would recommend that you change the key comment to something that means something to you. I'm changing mine to Home Assistant demo key. You then just need to click on the save private key, and for additional security you can provide a passphrase as well. I'm not doing that here as it is an optional step, so I'm just going to click on yes to say continue, and then I'm going to store my private key somewhere safe. You can do the same with the public key as well, but whatever you do, don't store them both in the same location. As this is my demo system, I'm not going to do that, and if needs be, I can always regenerate another set of keys if I lose them. Now we just need to copy the public key shown in the box to the clipboard, and then switch back to our Home Assistant browser window, and in the authorized keys input at the top of the screen we want to paste that information into the box and then click on the save button. Next we go back to the info tab and click on the start button, and then if we click on the log tab at the top of the screen we should see that everything has started, except we'll also have a warning that the SSH port is disabled, which is good, so just click back onto the info tab for now. We now need to configure PuTTY to connect to SSH on Home Assistant, so launch PuTTY and you should have a window like this one appear, and then in the hostname input our Home Assistant IP address and leave port as 22, and just make sure that the connection type is set to SSH. Next, on the left side of the window we need to click on the data option underneath connection, and on the right hand side of the screen for the login username we need to type in root. Again, on the left side of the screen under connection we then need to expand the SSH option and choose the auth option and expand that. Then we need to fill in our private key details, so click on the browse button next to private key file for authentication and select the private key file that we saved earlier. Now on the left side of the window we can click on session, and in the save sessions box we can type in a name of this connection, which I'm calling Home Assistant Demo, and then click on the save button and it should then appear in the list on the screen. To try this out, we just need to click on the open button at the bottom of the screen. If you've done any other changes before this, then you might have to just click on the Home Assistant session in the list first, just so that it is the selected connection. After that, we should have a window appear with a blank screen, and as you can see, I've got a connection refused error appear, and that's because port 22 is still disabled. So let's sort that out now. So back into our Home Assistant browser window, and we want to stop the SSH add-on by clicking the stop button. Then we click on the configuration tab, and if we scroll down to network, you'll see there is a section for ports exposed by the add-on. If you click on the show disable ports option, we now have the SSH port showing, and we can just pop port 22 in here and then click the save option. If we then go back to the info tab and click on start and then click on the log tab, then we should see everything has started back up, except this time we can see that SSH has started and it's listening on port 22. If we go back into PuTTY and try our connection again, this time we get an alert showing. We know this machine and we're happy to connect to it, so we can accept this, and now we get a window which, instead of being a black screen, we now have the Home Assistant command line. I would say if you don't want SSH exposed all the time, then you just need to go back into the configuration tab of the SSH add-on, and for the port option just click on the reset to default so that port 22 is removed, and then restart the add-on. You could just stop the add-on as well, but remember to turn off the auto start. So there you have it. That's how you install and set up SSH into Home Assistant in 2025. A powerful feature that can sometimes seem overly complicated to get right. However, in following this guide, it now opens a whole new range of possibilities for your smart home setup with Home Assistant and can even help you out in difficult situations. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe even found it useful. If you'd like to see more of these, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really does help and lets other people get to see it as well. If you like the content that I create, then why not consider becoming a channel member, whereby you'll get access to a range of exclusive perks just for supporting the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.